Welcome to QSR Nation, your weekly dose of food service marketing tips and business strategies for success. Here's your hosts, Josh Anderson, Beth Oots, and Anthony Pierce from the PFS Brands National Headquarters.
Hey everybody, welcome back to QSR Nation. As always, we have Josh, Beth, and Tony here from Holtzhausen, Missouri at the PFS Brands National Headquarters to talk about food service marketing, and business strategies for success. Today we have Kristin Garnett, the digital marketing manager here. Kristin, you tell us a little about yourself and what you do?
Yep. I've been with PFS Brands, formerly Pro Food Systems, since 2012. So it's been almost 5 years. It's been a fun 5 years. I've gotten to do everything from taking orders in our print shop and cutting poster and producing it and sending it to our retail locations, to being involved in yesterday groundbreaking a new building here at the headquarters and writing a press release and contacting industry media. So my role has just been varied with every year, and I've really enjoyed the amount of experiences that I've gotten. And my digital title is actually my roots, but I like to do a lot of different things around the marketing department.
Awesome. So just like your role has evolved here at PFS, so has the world of social media and digital marketing. And one of the main things that we have a lot of our retailers contact us about is that they don't understand social media, they don't understand the impacts, but that is your specialty. So can you tell us a little bit about why people should be on digital marketing, those different types of campaigns, those advertising methods, and then what is your favorite thing about Facebook and that what retailers can do?
Sure. That's a lot. I have a lot to say, so feel free to rein me in at any time. It's a lot of different things there. Well, I have been a Facebook user since 2005. That seems like forever ago, but that's when Facebook really started. And so I've been a user since the beginning, and luckily at that time I was in college and was able to, with my degree in communication, was able to follow social media and its practices and use for business, and was one of the first business page users. I was in the first 1,500 business page users, and I was working for the Vacation Channel in Branson, Missouri at the time. It was very new, awesome frontier. There was no analytics. It was very archaic if you think about what we have now, but it's been really fun to watch the progression. And as a user, and I'm guilty of flooding my own Facebook feed with too many things and oversharing, it's very different than being the main promoter of a brand and being in charge and managing your brand. So there's a lot of resources that I just really want to promote, because if you do not educate yourself, as Beth said, social media is changing all the time. I think this discussion is primarily on Facebook. We could talk for days on Facebook, and that's probably my favorite of all the social media, to be honest. But there's some resources that I think shouldn't be ignored. My favorite how-to resource is the Social Media Examiner, and Josh tells me that you guys can put links in the notes of this call or this podcast, so that way people can refer to that at a later time. So the Social Media Examiner, I basically owe what I am today to the Social Media Examiner and their how-to guides, which are super helpful. So log on to socialmediaexaminer.com and check that out. I'm not being paid for this. I just really enjoy their content. Amy Porterfield is one of the best keynote speakers ever on any topic, in my opinion. But she is an amazing, and she has an ROI speech on Facebook, on her website, that kills. If you need to know how to track your return on investment with Facebook, you have got to listen to some of her stuff on her website, amyporterfield.com. That's just a minimum. You got to do it. I know it's a time investment, but I think that you'll learn more in the 30 minutes you spend on her website than probably going it on your own for 30 days. So jump on there. My quote for that is ROI for days. So also, this is pretty ironic, but Facebook does have a Twitter page, and I love Twitter because it's so condensed. Facebook is a longer format, of course, and doesn't truncate your posts. And Twitter is it's either 140 or 160 characters or less. So it is a really succinct way to get news and information. So Facebook has a Twitter handle, and Mark Zuckerberg gets on their Twitter all the time and posts links on there to their live feeds, and he is Facebook Live Goals. So if you have never seen a Mark Zuckerberg Facebook Live session, you have got to jump on there, and you can easily find that at twitter.com/Facebook. So I would say if you're jumping in and you don't understand much about social media and how it can relate to your business, those would be 3 really awesome resources to start with. And from there, you want to make some goals for your page. What type of an audience do you have? We're talking about food service marketing. So, I can kind of talk about my experience and, starting and growing our pages. And there's 3 general tips that I'll give really quickly before we dig into advertising and sponsoring posts on Facebook. If you're going to have a Facebook page, you want to make sure that you understand the time commitment and the responsive level. People like to be responded to, and they like to be responded to in a timely manner. We're in a instant access age of digital technology. So if you're not willing to put Facebook on your phone and to respond in off hours when your customers are having a bad experience, I know many of us at the table have experienced that even, and it can be super uncomfortable, and you may be at home and busy with something else, and it's not what you want to be doing at that moment, but that's kind of part of the deal. If you have digital in your title, if you're a marketing person in this age, you really have to be able to be accessible at any time. So my hot tip there is have more than one person available to be accessible on your page. So you're not the sole person that's in charge of providing the same exact level of customer service you'd give to people in your stores as you do on your social media page. So that's my hot tip there. Be really cautious of setting up autoresponders. I did that once at a previous position, and we had an emergency situation in which was completely ruined, and the customer was just completely upset because the autoresponders were very inappropriate in her situation, which was an emergency. So be very cautious. I felt like I was being smart by setting up that technology, and in fact that backfired and gave a really bad experience. She ended up putting something out to the local newspaper, and they ended up publishing what she put. So I would be very cautious of doing that. If it seems like it's buying you time and it's making your life smarter, evaluate what could go wrong before you put that into action. As I already said, and I'm very guilty of this on a personal level, but for your business page, I think 1 to 2 posts a day is just fine. If that scares you and you feel like, oh, I don't know what I would even write every day, great. Don't post something every day. Make a goal of 1 to 2 posts per week and make them valuable. Don't just post a link to something funny on your page and be like, oh, that was one of my posts for this week. There's so many tools for content strategies online. Really, my pro tip here is, we added Josh to the team last year, which was amazing. And it wasn't just me trying to figure things out on my own anymore. And grab a colleague, whether they're on your digital team or not, grab a colleague and, do some brainstorming. What's really valuable to your customers? It doesn't always have to be a discount, but what information are they looking for? And just draft a quick calendar. 2 minds are better than 1, 3 minds are better than 2. So that would be my pro tip there.
And you can also schedule on your Facebook posts as well, so you don't have to worry about going in multiple times of the week. You can kind of sit down and dedicate that time up front. So what do you think about when you're doing those posts? Sometimes if it's just an image of the food that you've got prepared for one of our retailers, just kind of get that mindset of just trying to make someone hungry with a good visual.
Absolutely. Make sure that the quality of the image is portraying the quality of the food that you serve. So don't over or underserve. If the cell phone picture is grainy, take the food outside. Get natural light on the food if you don't have a studio. If you have a prepaid Go phone that's from 1998, maybe have somebody else take the picture. A video is worth more than a picture, and that was actually one of the things I was going to lead into, so it's a good segue. But, if you can take a quick video and just say a couple words about that food and say the price in the video, that algorithm on Facebook is going to be so much higher shared than just that picture alone. If you don't have graphic design capabilities yourself or access to that software, we could connect you with some free resources, but if you don't have that, then don't worry about having to brand every single aspect of your post, but keep the quality very high and make sure you're linking to yourself in the descriptions of your food that you're posting. Don't just say $5.99 Tuesday. Say the name of your business, link to your business page, so that way if it's shared, people can come back to you. Say Tuesday and say what Tuesday it is. So say the date of the day, so people don't have a bad experience when they come back to your page and they say this was $5.99 on Tuesday. Well, that was last Tuesday's special. So help yourself out and give it a couple extra minutes up front to alleviate headaches, because let me tell you, people will come in and they will cite what's online and they will want that price and you will have to honor it. So Scheduling your posts is another great approach, and there's so many tools. We could actually have a whole session about just scheduling your posts and what I think are good things, but do it, whether you schedule it just through Facebook or whether you schedule it through a third party like Hootsuite or Buffer. There's so many great resources that are absolutely free to you out there, but do it and spend the time to learn all the intricacies of how to do that first. There's a 30-minute, I think it's a 30-minute Hootsuite tutorial that was on their YouTube, and I learned everything I needed to know in 30 minutes off of that to get my page started.
Well, and that's a great point, is taking the time to invest up front to educate yourself just so you execute it correctly. And if you have questions, that's one of the things that Beth and I are here to help folks with, as well as they can reach out to us and we can help walk them through some of those things, or at least point them in the direction so they can sit down in the evening and go through some of those things. That's very important information to have.
And at the same point, if you don't have time for it and you don't have the time to devote to learning it properly, I'd say don't do it. I would say don't put out a page that you don't harvest and continually try to reap benefits from. Having an outdated page is probably worse than not having one at all, in my opinion. So just make that decision wisely. That said, if you are a semi-technical person and you have 30 minutes to an hour a week to spend on a strategy, I would say it's a great thing for your business, and it's something that you can start out absolutely free and grow from there. There are a lot of options that are paid options through Facebook, and they've made it consistently easier over the years. There's different levels. There's ads and sponsorships.
Would you like to come back next week and talk more about Facebook ads and sponsorships?
I guess we could. I guess we'll talk more about those next week. And I will say that you can start with as little as $5. So that would be my pitch there. If you think that it's something that you can't afford, you can tune in at a later time and we'll discuss that more in depth. But if you think you can't afford it, you're probably wrong. And there's a budget for everybody with Facebook. So
yeah, and you can definitely see the ROI on that. And like you said, we'll talk about that in depth next week. For everybody, we'd like to thank Kristin very much for coming in this week. It was a great conversation, and you definitely have to tune in for part 2 next week. So we'll see you then.
stop by next week for another QSR Nation episode or visit pfsbrands.com.